Hey guys, back here again today with another whiteboard session. Today we're going to be talking about foot positioning for squats. So we'll go directly into this. So does foot positioning change the emphasis on muscles during a squat? For example, the main muscles that we're going to be talking about are quads, so the front of the leg, the glutes, the butt, and the hamstrings. And we're going to go over why this is going to change, right? So a simple answer is yes, it does change. And why is because foot positioning will cause our limbs to move differently. For say we have our feet close together, it's going to cause a lot more knee flexion, right? Or wide apart, might have a little bit more forward lean in our hips and so forth, right? So the different foot positions we're going to be talking about today over here. We'll start over here with the narrow, we're going to go over to the regular, and then we're going to talk about talking about sumo. So here I have in the green is like the main focuses of the muscles for each different positioning and what they're going to target more. For the narrow here, we have the quadriceps. So what I was talking about before is that the feet are more narrow, right? So in that, we're going to have more length and more bending in our knees. So we're going to be able to go more up and more down. And that's going to cause the quadriceps to activate a lot more because that's what they work on, is knee flexion or straightening of the knee when they're bent. The only downside to this, and I have all the downsides in the black here, is it requires a lot of ankle and hip mobility per se. So when someone has like tight calves, it's probably going to be very hard for them to do this one because your knee needs to track very far over your toe because your feet are so close together. And the same thing goes with hip mobility. If they have very tight hips, they're not going to be able to keep their chest upright when they're squatting nice and low and their feet are very close together. Here we have the regular foot stance, which is one I like a lot too, right? So this has a complete good balance of glutes, quads, and hamstrings. Just because it's just your standard, it's regular movement, very natural, and you're not changing the emphasis on too much, it might be good for you even if you do suffer from some mobility issues and this and that. And it usually feels comfortable for a lot of people because it's just a natural foot positioning. And we're going to be talking over here about sumo. So feet nice and wide apart, toes pointed out probably a little dramatically per se. So this activates a lot of the glutes because you are going to be able to go a little more forward, and then you're going to extend the hips a lot more, which is what the glutes do, is hip extension. So you're going to be activating them a lot more. When you go nice and wide and you get your hips nice and through more, you're able to squeeze the butt a lot more because the toes are pointed slightly up, so you can get a lot more good hip extension with not overextension. The one thing I don't like about this, the sumo squats, is because they can feel a little bit awkward, and it can be like a little bit of a learning curve for you to be able to find the right foot positioning so you're not wobbling too far forward and too far back. But once you get it, it's very good for emphasizing the glutes. And one question you might be asking yourself is one directly better than the other per se? What I can say about all of them is it all depends on your mobility and your goals. So one might be better for if you lock quads, maybe going a little bit more narrow. For a regular stance, I would say it'd be really good for athletic performance because it's just more natural when you're jumping and stuff. Usually you don't have too far wide, too far in. The feet are not too close together or too wide apart. It's just generally just a regular stance, right? And if you want to do some working on your glutes, through hip extension, maybe want to work on your deadlifts and stuff, the sumo is going to be a really good one because it emphasizes that exactly. One isn't necessarily better than the other, but they all have their positioning on your goals and your ability to do so because of your mobility. So that has been foot positioning for squats. So if you guys have any further questions, please leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll get back to them as soon as possible. Have a great day.